Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another video. We getting off onto Fani Willis. She keep taking L after L after L. She with Young Thug. She lost. She couldn't prove the jury ruled but he just I'm frying chicken, y'all. He just well, he didn't get off, but they dropped the murder charge on him. And and they was trying to charge them with RICO, but when they dropped it on the other defendant, so she lost that. She got disqualified from Trump case. Um, Hold on a moment. She had to pay Ashley Merchant, the law firm, $54,000. She lost the Open Records violation of the Open Records Act. She had to pay Judicial Watch $21,000 for not supplying the documents. Um, I'm going off memory. Oh wow, it do show up that I'm live. Let me send this to my friend. He said he wanna come on. He must not have subscribed. Thank you. I got 200 likes, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Please hit the like button. So she has taken L after L after L. Then she committed adultery with Nathan Wade. His wife ended up divorcing him, and they allowing you to preach in the black church on your position, you know. So she has taken multiple L's. She has not won, but it's because of how she tried to fry. She have a price to pay on how she tried to do those boys, Young Thug, and then tried to put him back in jail. That's why I hate that he even tweeted Young Kid Cudi is a snitch and then deleted. Everybody seen that. And he know from being in trial, if you delete something, they can go back and get it. I'm just saying. So we just gonna get off into her behind, and I got a lot of stuff on her. I can't stand her. And Simone Hilton and Adrian Love, who prosecuted, these were the worst prosecutors I ever seen in America. Do you hear me? They were awful and they were embarrassing as black women. And one got the nerve to be a professor at Emory. And I think it's Hilton. But here we go. Supreme Court rules district attorneys can be sued, upholding judge ruling in the open records dispute involving Fani Willis. A Georgia Supreme Court's opinion loosely related to the open records dispute plays a role in this case. It's a win for the Merchant law firm. And she was scared to death of Ashley Merchant. She was Trump's lawyer in the Georgia case. So, and her husband. It's a win for the Merchant law firm, which challenged Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and her office in an open records dispute. I watched that trial. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court, no, because it's an old article. We're doing a recap. The Supreme The Georgia Supreme Court ruled that district attorneys in the state can be sued under the Open Records Act, upholding Judge Rachel Cross ruling in favor of the firm. And this is Ashley Merchant here. She a bad. And then they wanted her client to testify in the YSL case. They didn't even call them. And she gave them specific dates that she was available. They didn't even call them. They didn't want to deal with her. Okay, so that's that. Oh, let me see. December. Oh, yeah, I didn't. She is an embarrassment. She is, and they put her right back in. I don't understand. I just don't get it myself. I just really don't. But let's get into it.
6:37 now. This morning, we continue to look into a judge's ruling against the Fulton County DA's office in a lawsuit. So this is a case now we have following for months. 11 Live reporter Ariana Maniz joining us live with more from the Fulton County Courthouse. Ariana, Ashley Merchant, an attorney, testified against the DA's office.
That's right, Cheryl. Now, this lawsuit is a sidebar of the Georgia election interference case. Ashley Merchant, she had the defendants listed in that case, and she is accusing the DA's office of violating the state's Opens Record Request Act and not handing over documents related to her client, Michael Roman. Now, on Monday, we saw she took the stand and she testified that she did not receive requested documents in this case and that she never received such communication in a timely manner, and also accusing the DA's office of hiding some information. Now, some of the documents requested included non-disclosure agreements, emails, invoices, and payments. Now, lawyers for the county claim subpoena and an attorney representing the claim the law is harassing the district attorney in her office.
All of this is to serve a particular purpose, and it is not because they did not receive documents. It's not because.
And they actually got on the court and said it's to harass.
Is to impact this criminal prosecution, the election, and to harass the district attorney's office.
Now, in the end, the judge proceeding over this hearing ruled against Fulton County District Attorney's Office. They failed to provide those documents in a timely manner. The judge also ruled that the plaintiffs in this case, the Merchant Law Firm, could be awarded attorney fees. Reporting live from the Fulton County Courthouse, I'm Ariana Maniz for 11 Alive. Back to you.
And her office was had to pay $54,000. Okay, here we go. This is the judge, Rachel Cross.
Okay, my apologies, Miss Monroe, because I feel like I was very confused, and it's not anything intended to reflect upon your
I hate StreamYard. I really do.
I think that what I have said several times, I continue to struggle with is that it estimates that I've already either attorney of Fulton County are subject to the Open Records Act. And therefore, it would have been appropriate with the Mr. Ball, to recite some procedure that he follows, or some process he follows, which I didn't hear when he requests. The impression that I got from hearing the testimony is that there are types of requests we get all the time. They are used to responding to them. They, maybe close criminal files, things like that, right? And that those are somewhat out of the ordinary for what is where it really gets off the rails. That not only was Mr. Bond not able to testify to a particular process that he followed by requesting, from IT to do searches, and more importantly, to follow up with certain people, but not about what it was, the nature of the request. Seems to me to indicate that there's something of a problem regarding the efforts of in good faith comply. Now, having said all of that, here's what we're going to do. I am telling you right now where I am leaning and how I'm going to rule, assuming that tomorrow the Supreme Court does not say that the district attorney's office and individual officially elected person is not subject to the. So it is not my intention to enter an order today, but I what my likely ruling will be, because I'm observe the issue of states, right, with in terms of damages that are sought. The records that the requests were clear, and that to the extent that the custodian did not understand what was being requested, it was the obligation of them to make a good faith effort to make sure they understood what was being provided or what was being requested. I do not believe that the records custodian engaged in a good faith effort to determine how to respond to the requests that were made. I also am unpersuaded by the idea, given the high profile nature of so much of what the district attorney's office does in Fulton County, the sheer volume of just media requests alone for public documents may question the idea that 13 requests from one individual was somehow overly burdensome.
Right. Right.
Because to the NDAs, as to certain of the open matters, and that's the part I'm reserving, right? I have materials here from the merchants to make sure I understand what they believe, what matters. Appears to me quite clear that the NDA issue is still open, right? Maybe that y'all can resolve that, but my issue really is that while I appreciate, Ms. Monroe, your assertion that the subpoenas resolution of this problem, that they're not, that they ask for different things. I think, having seen the subpoenas and comparing them to the Open Records Act requests, the reason they're different is two things. Number one, there were attorneys in the form of Mr. Bowman and Faith trying to understand what was being requested and comply with the request. That was not the same in the Open Records Act request. And two, by the time those requests morphed into the subpoena that was served on Fulton County, Ms. Merchant had all been accomplished. And so all of that.
And he has such a nasty attitude. I watched this whole trial.
Say this: what I'm going to ask for from the merchants is a order that rules in favor, or I guess it would be their favor of law in this section. As to those specific items that were not timely focused on the fees issue, the expenses that were associated with their efforts to record these amounts, and here's why. I've given the DA's office a real hard time. I would be remiss if I didn't.
As she should. She's one of the best lawyers, along with Brian Steele, in the state of Georgia. They are supposed to comply. And he got on stand, Mr. Bond, and said he did not fulfill her request because there was a merchant rule, which violates the whole Records Act. Unbelievable.
And has potentially used these proceedings, right? Particularly the subpoena to Madam DA in the criminal case.
All right, wait a minute. Okay, Lenny.
I'm certain that is true, as I challenged Miss Allaby about when she was speaking. My understanding of the Open Records Act request is, while some of that argument may be relevant to whether or not Ms. Merchant or the firm was substantially justified in making these requests.
Give me a minute, Lenny.
The relevant consideration is, are these public documents that the public is entitled to see? And was the request made, and was a good faith effort made to comply with those requests? And because despite the fact that the DA's office may or may not document all that, is to say that I don't intend necessarily to award the of the attorney's fees that were sought by the merchant law firm.
We got a few more minutes. Hold on, Lenny. Let me wait a minute. Control. Okay, that's the link you can hit. Okay, I'm gonna let this play. I gotta check on my chicken.
I expect that I will call a good bit from it because I believe that some of it, particularly the subpoenas to all the various parties, when it took me 10 minutes into that first hearing to point out that I wasn't going to hear from any of those witnesses until it became absolutely necessary, because those witnesses were in possession of specific information that no one else was in possession of. And that's a fairly standard approach in civil law. And so I do think perhaps there was an expanding of the proceedings, but I'm not ruling on the motion that was urged today regarding sanctions and fees, but I will say that still probably wouldn't rise to a basis for sanctions, because very quickly the merchant law firm got the testimony that it believed it needed to prove its case from one witness, and then released the others from further requirements to testify, despite the fact that, you know, if it was really Ms. Merchant's intention to get media attention and hype this all up to the media, she could have continued to insist and get into an argument with the court and brief, etc., on this entitlement to examine Madam DA.
You didn't come up.
I will also say that I take exception to this argument that this entire characterization of Ms. Merchant, who again, I don't doubt that she has been, I'll stick with the word difficult because that's what I said before, right? That she is someone who is aggressive and difficult, can be difficult to deal with in litigation, whether it be civil or criminal, I understand that. But the district attorney's motion and the effort to characterize it as being in bad faith by all of that.
Let me add you, Lenny. You can calm down if you want to. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to.
Could have been cut away if Dexter.
You are muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Or Ashley Merchant and said, "What are you trying?"
How's that?
To get, and then given the document.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Oh my.
Or engage in an effort that would give sure the requesting party some good faith effort. Locate this document so that when it presents, that is what I'm going to.
So she entered a judgment in favor of the Merchant law firm.
Failure to timely provide the documents that were requested.
Can you hear me okay?
That's her second L.
Outstanding, if there are any. It's
Hello.
most of them, except perhaps the NDA. In terms of injunction, mostly this is about failure to timely provide. And that will occasion an award of attorney's favor of the Merck law firm associated with the efforts that are took to secure these documents. But I don't yet know what the dollar amount of that is going to be. See,
Right.
Jamie, can you hear me?
it may be that I'm wrong. If expenses or time.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
You want to add something?
No, I don't even know what y'all talking about at this time, unfortunately. So we can move on to the next
Fani
topic.
Willis, the district DA in Georgia.
Okay, I wasn't
This is
following
the
that
only
story.
topic for the next 20. Oh, she was over the Young Thug case and she lost that. This is another case that she lost because the title.
Oh, so she's not a
Fani
good
Willis takes
attorney.
L after L, and she's not a
Well, what
good
did she do
district
her
attorney.
schooling
No.
at? Have we investigated what she did her schooling? Because she's definitely not a scholar. Did you hear that?
You say what?
I said that where did she do her schooling? Because she's losing all these cases. Therefore,
For
she's
another
never been a
like
scholar.
35 minutes. But I'm about to let this go. But this is what she lost this case.
Unnecessarily expanded the scope of the litigation.
You look very nice tonight, by the way.
District attorney. Thank you. The district attorney ended up having to pay the Merchant law firm. Damn. $54,000. Then she had to pay Judicial Watch. And she gonna have to pay Young Thug for them stealing his Richie Millen watch. That was like 400 grand that they stole. So I can't believe this whole thing went away.
That ain't nothing.
It's
My little
not
brother said he had
surprising.
one of them.
Huh?
Said that ain't nothing that Richard
You
Miller
say
watched.
what?
Nothing.
I know. Well, his was worth 400,000.
Mm,
I know Nate got one.
yeah. Well, you better not let Trey see it, because Trey gonna steal it. He still watches. That fat boy.
Don't get.
You heard?
Don't get off my topic.
Okay.
Hold on, let me check this chicken because I'm getting hungry, but I wanted to do that. Hold on. Oh, oh shoot.
Oh,
Oh
we
my
on the
God.
lunch topic now. Oh, Fani Willis.
Flip this thing over. Then I'm just gonna fry some French fries and call it a day. That's what we about to do. And I lost the damn. I hate when I do that, but I'm gonna go back. So I'm just gonna go to. Mm, mm, mm. So Lenny, you in for the night?
Yep. Well, I'm gonna be at 11:30 at night.
I don't know. I'm surprised you up this late.
Oh, I am too. I just left Belle Isle. They was put,
You said you surprised too?
I said, I'm surprised I'm up too. I just left Belle Isle, the park.
Don't they shut it
No,
down at 10 or they let it stay open later?
they shut it down at 10, but it take them about an hour to get it right off the island. I left about
Oh,
10:30.
okay. Oh, okay. Cause they showed on it showed on be a lot of us on that island no more.
Yeah, they don't let people spend the night.
It be a whole bunch of
I've stayed overnight out there,
huh?
but they don't do. I've stayed overnight out there before. They don't let you do that anymore. Do we have a 3 second delay or something?
No, I'm saying it don't be probably so. But they don't let it don't be a lot of us out there no more.
No, I don't. But they was out there for the
It's a
holiday.
lot of the it's or
It
was
usually
that?
be like that every day, like the holiday had. But people don't go out like you say. They don't come out there as much. But they turned one of them bathrooms into a
Because
chicken
they
restaurant.
show would take
Did you see how they changed one of them bathrooms?
a chicken restaurant.
Yeah, they put a chicken.
Yeah,
They
at
selling
least
chicken at the
ever
bathroom.
since.
They selling chicken at the
Hmm.
bathroom.
Well, they must have. Well, they converted it. But you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Since the state took over, them bathrooms is clean. They open. They had the
Yeah,
people right there in there.
sure do.
Cause this show, cause when they had them open, when the city had them, it was terrible,
Hmm. And then it was dangerous.
nasty.
And then it was dangerous as well.
That too. That too. I think my chicken done. I'm about to put these French fries on. Hold on. Oh, oh, shoot. I'm about to take some of these out. Yep. Oh, shoot. Let me turn this off. Turn that off. Let me see. I might just have to delete this video because I cannot believe I lost my stuff. As you, oh, I'm almost there, but I want to delete that video. But I'm not. I'm just gonna get to. Oh man, this is my third video for the day, and I want to do another one after this. I'm going to bed. Well, I hope
Yeah,
everything could be okay. You know,
with me?
huh?
You talking about with me?
We ain't gonna. We ain't gonna talk about. I'm just saying it. You know, I'm glad you didn't let it upset you like that, because you can't even afford, to get upset like that. And you handled that very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you did. All right, I'm almost there. Almost there. I'm not even going back to that because we done with that part.
You eating kind of late tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't hungry, but now I'm hungry. I ate a big lunch.
Oh.
Now, let me take the rest of this chicken. I'm about to put these fries on.
Oh.
All right, I'm almost there.
Ouch, 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 ouch.
All right, I'm almost there. Yeah, we're gonna end this in a half an hour. All right, because I'm not going back to that part, but I need to start here. Thank God. I hate when I lose my information. Okay, Lenny, you can hit your mute button. Here we go. Here we go. I'm there. All right.
You said what?
Hit your well, you ain't gotta hit it. All right, we almost here, 17.
I hit my mute button.
All right, here we go. I'm on the date. Okay, here we go. This is her and Donald Trump.
Live breaking news, nation. The Georgia State Court of Appeals has hereby canceled the Fani Willis oral arguments to be heard on December 5th in her disqualification in the Georgia State election interference case against President Donald Trump and 18 other co-defendants. We've been covering this case for a very, very long time. And then the fake Don Juan Merchan has adjourned sentencing in the Trump sham hush money trial in New York. This is a huge day in the court system and the criminal justice system in America. The biggest news we've gotten since President Trump has been elected on November 5th. Starting with our Cash Money G case, this took everybody by surprise. This was issued late last night by the Court of Appeals. You can see it's just a one-page issuing ruling. The Court of Appeals hereby passes the following order, November 18th, 2024. The oral argument scheduled to take place on December 5th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. is hereby canceled until further order of this court. Now, just to give you a little bit of context here, this was the disqualification hearing that Judge Pussycat McAfee issued that ruling way back. I can't even remember how far back. It was months ago, where he said it's either you, Cash Money G, or your special prosecutor, Nathan American Pie Wade, needs to go. And then Cash Money G's not going anywhere. And then Nathan Wade immediately resigned.
He resigned.
And then Steve Sadow, the pit bull, who I'm in talks with right now, went to the appellate court and appealed because there was enough information, enough language that Judge McAfee left in his ruling the odor of mendacity to appeal this. And then the appellate judges decided to hear the case. They awarded them. They won. And they essentially, the appeals court said, we will listen to this. We will hear this. We will allow you guys to give your case and present your case orally. But this is the latest in this disqualification hearing, and I can't, it is not lost upon me. I can't.
Right, I was so happy because I cannot stand that woman. She is awful. Okay, that's something different. I'm not gonna bring that up right now. This another thing that she did. This is her office, arresting college students.
Tonight, a Clark Atlanta student who says he was mistakenly identified as the suspect in a road rage shooting just walked out of jail a free man. Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn is live at 5 from the Fulton County Jail where Ladavius McNair's charges were dropped. So, Patrick, how is he feeling tonight?
And we just talked to Ladavius. He's thrilled. He's emotional. He says he wants lemon pepper chicken wings. He's been here roughly 30 days at the Fulton County
30 days.
Just today, the DA's office asked a judge to drop this case. Ladavius McNair, a PhD student at Clark Atlanta University, is going home.
PhD student.
The moment Ladavius McNair walked out of the Fulton County Jail, all charges against him dropped. The yells from family and friends, and then the hugs. So many hugs. McNair has been in jail since October 2nd. 30 days, charged with a crime he said he didn't do.
No one should ever have to deal with this. No one should ever have to deal with this, especially in 2024 in America.
Last November, along Metropolitan Parkway in southwest Atlanta, the state alleges McNair, in a road rage incident, pistol whipped a driver before shooting them in the knee. Despite the victim in this case initially not identifying McNair in a lineup, the case moved forward, and McNair was indicted by Fulton County grand jury last week. The DA's office said the state was able to place McNair's phone and his car at the scene of the shooting. McNair's attorney, Marcia Mignon, said police detectives had the wrong guy.
Where was your client when this incident happened?
My client was in class. He's a PhD candidate. He's a doctoral candidate that is in class on the date of the incident.
McNair, a veteran,
Wow.
now wants to be a voice for others wrongfully accused.
So I want to be that. I want to be that advocate to help them get to where they need to be.
In court documents acquired by Atlanta News First, the DA's office, after a court hearing, wrote, quote, "The state no longer believes that it can prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt due to the change in the victim's certainty of his identification of the defendant as the shooter."
You think?
Davies, justice delayed, finally delivered.
Well, I've experienced a lot of heartache, a lot of tears, my family and friends, a lot of tears, headaches, aggravation, but we're here. Victory.
And LaDavia said that he's seen the story.
And if you happen to watch the Young Thug trial, which I did, I couldn't believe how corrupt that they are. Okay, that's gonna be another topic. But here he is again. I got to get the last of this chicken.
Well, new at 11, we are hearing from Ladavius McNair for the first time since the PhD student and Army veteran spent 30 days in jail for a road rage shooting he had nothing to do with.
11 Alive's Angelina Salcedo live tonight from the Fulton County Jail. This is
I'm about to let them play.
Was in custody for quite some time. So, Angelina, what does McNair have to say about all of this?
Well, you guys, 30 days here at the Fulton County Jail, and he tells me that he is left with some pretty severe trauma, telling me that he didn't know what would be next for him, and he literally fought to make it out alive. Now, he says that Atlanta police arrested him not knowing that they had the wrong guy.
This time last week, I was unsure, uncertain.
Trapped in the system.
I go in Friday, walking in chains, right? Ankles shackled, body, torso shackled.
Ladavius McNair in jail for a crime a judge would find he didn't do.
It's an uncomfortable feeling. I would never forget hearing the chains.
Friday, November 1st would be the 32-year-old's last day in court. The same day last year changed his life.
I remember the class, actually. Quantitative analysis.
The graduate student was in class at Clark Atlanta University when a man with the same name shot someone in a road rage incident. Since that day, he'd had warrants out for his arrest without knowing it. This October,
I'm surrounded by over 10 to 15 cop cars, and they're all jumping out with their weapons pointed at me, telling me to get the F out of the car.
cops mistook his identity and put him in jail.
The experiences I've had in there was something that I did not know that was an experience of many people in those positions.
He says it was traumatizing. After a hard fight, he's free.
I walked out. And
That's
I smelled
another
that
lawsuit,
fresh air, and I
another
seen my beautiful
lawsuit.
fiance and my friends and my frat brothers and my family members.
He doesn't fault the man with his name.
The lack of effectiveness to find the true person that done this. That's what I do for.
Now he is asking this man with the same name to turn himself in, saying that he hopes to help him as well if he can. The good news here is that he is still a graduate student at Clark Atlanta, and he's going to be graduating in May. His lawyer's office has taken dozens of calls from people who say that they are in the same situation. He would like to help those people and focus on helping inmates moving forward. We're live in Atlanta.
Wow, and that's so sad. That's another L that the Fulton County has taken. And I'm sure he sued. Okay. Let's continue. And they voted her right back in. We got to do better, black folk, for real. You don't vote for people just because they black. You vote on policy. Because I will not do it. I'm voting on policy only. And what you going to do that's going to help me and my family. Because black folks been selling us down the river too long. And you're going to have to earn my vote. They put that woman right back in office. Now this the mess. Now this Judge Glanfield was removed from this case, who is under
The
Fani.
Fulton County Sheriff opened the doors to his jail today to show the extremely poor conditions that he's trying to fix.
As Fox 5's More Stiggs reports, the spotlight has been on.
Refused. Flat out, straight up, refused Diamante Kendricks some doggone medical attention.
Believes the rank and file
Right.
will not
This
be
is
used.
it right here.
Continue to be curled up in doggy-style plastic trays.
Here it is.
On top of the Fulton jail being way overcrowded, there are sections like this one here that they can't use or shouldn't use, and yet they had been used and part of the deplorable conditions. An inmate complains he needs to get out of the county jail to go see a judge. The sheriff, Pat Labatt, allowed the public to see inside.
Every inmate, every detainee, and every cell.
Labatt says he will look at every floor and talk to the inmates. Some continue to be curled up in doggy-style plastic trays due to overcrowding. And
Wow.
conditions made even worse because some of the
Wow.
jail sections cannot be used.
There's actually a leak behind the wall.
We saw cell doors off hinges.
Wow.
From leaks and other things we will not put on this broadcast. One inmate told Labatt he's not been able to shower since Saturday.
I came up here Saturday when we had our intake. We took a shower when we were coming out for intake. That was it.
The highly publicized death of one inmate who sustained bug bites had been housed on a different
Wow.
floor, but that death put the Fulco jail and the sheriff in the spotlight.
We have been, telling people you need this kind of help. We're in crisis.
Labatt told me he believes the rank and file were afraid to go
Look
over
at that.
their
And they
bosses'
got
heads
people
to
housed
let
in there.
him know how
Fani
bad
Willis,
things
you
had
should
gotten.
be ashamed.
He successfully persuaded Atlanta Mayor Dickens to allow him to use the downtown city jail for extra beds. But here's the problem. He has to move already short manpower from Rice Street to supervise transferred prisoners.
Are you restricted somewhat because you're already on a manpower crunch here, so you can only do it in a phase?
So what we've done is, yes, we're doing it in phases because of manpower.
And the sheriff wants to make it clear he's not asking for a fancy.
Wow, that is
jail.
terrible.
What's needed? A replacement jail. You've seen these conditions here today. It explains why. From Northwest Atlanta, I'm More Stiggs, Fox 5 News.
So, wait a minute. Glanville corrupt? Say it ain't so. Man, check it out. I'm scrolling through Twitter, minding my business, and what do I see? Now, according to Nick Starro, and y'all can check his channel out as far as what he put out, he said that Glanville refused, flat out, straight up, refused Diamante Kendricks some doggone medical attention.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? Hell, we just found out now. Let's go.
A motion for outside medical evaluation. Mr. Diamante Kendrick, by through his undersigned counsel, without waiving any other rights to which he is entitled, files this motion for outside medical evaluation to the above stated indictment as follows. On June 16, 2023, Mr. Kendrick was physically assaulted in the Fulton County Jail by one or more officers during a search of the pod in which he was located. The search had nothing to do with any alleged activities of Mr. Kendrick. Mr. Kendrick's head was bashed into a wall, and he was hit with projectiles. This resulted in significant bruising, swelling, and other injuries to Mr. Kendrick's arm, back, and head. Mr. Kendrick needs an independent evaluation by medical personnel to diagnose and treat his injuries suffered at the hands of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. Wherefore, the defendant respectfully requests this court to order the Fulton County Sheriff's Office to transport Mr. Kendrick for diagnosis and
Mr. Kendrick at 2 a.m. this morning. I know you don't have control over
In
the
order
sheriff.
to get him here?
They moved him at 2 a.m. They woke him up at 2, moved him to Rice Street for whatever reason, then brought him here because I don't know all the thinking behind it, but come on. Can they please not do that? Especially we have a 10 o'clock start tomorrow. Certainly they don't need to wake him up at 2 a.m. again tonight.
I agree. I'm not the elected sheriff.
I understand that. I
Not if the
understand.
elected sheriff knows that either, frankly, but, to my great and devoted deputies. Can you all please get word to whomever is in
It's a
charge
shame
of
how they
getting
did them
the
boys.
defendants here to, if at all possible, not wake anybody at 2 a.m. to start.
Now, I think we've garnered enough favor to investigate this a little bit further once the trial is over by next week. One of the things that we were told about Fulton County Jail is that essentially it's Hades. But not only that.
Yep, that is. And the look, I just showed y'all how I look. I'm going to end with this. Because my girl, Fame versus Sacrifice, did something on Fani Willis. And we're going to end with this. Because it's going to be part 2, 3, 4. Hold on. This is what we ending with.
You put the fries in the oven? Oh. They're right there.
Damn. Oh, I messed it up. Shit. You see I'm live and you're going to sit up there and ask me something dumb. Okay, here it is. Here it is. We ended with this one. Hold on. This is my so mad damn Fame versus Sacrifice.
But a lot of folks been asking. And they say, so madam, what ancestors done showed you about the DA, the district attorney, Fani Willis? Now, before I get into this situation, I made a video last year, sometime last year. I'm going to put the link to that video in the comment section so y'all can check it out when you get
Take
some
out the
time.
french fries, put them in that thing, turn it off.
And in that video, I told y'all, my people, in so many words, I told y'all, if she didn't do the right thing and change her life around for the good, etc., that the ancestors and the Holy Spirit said they was going to spit her out of their mouth.
Facts.
In other words, to spit her out of their mouth, what does that mean? In other words, that they was going to expose her. And that's exactly what we see going on now.
Mm-hmm.
She is being exposed. The ancestor showed me everything, y'all, in a vision that I had. He showed me everything in a prophecy vision. I saw that money was being stolen. I saw some other things as well. I saw the favoritism that was going on in the background. And y'all know I got to keep it real. Believe it or not, y'all, Fani Willis, she received the warning before the destruction. And I know that for a fact. But I'm going to keep that right there. Fani Willis said, she said, I want to have the celebrity type of lifestyle. She said that I want to feel like I'm one of the housewives of Atlanta. That's the type of lifestyle that she was wanting. Fani Willis was supposed to go into the enemy's camp and do the right thing. And she ended up going into the enemy's camp and she ended up joining sides with the enemy.
Facts.
The ancestors gave it to me like this, y'all. They said that she had plenty of time to make the right decisions. But she chose to make the wrong decisions. The ancestors was walking with Fani Willis. They was walking with Fani Willis and they was watching her every move.
Damn.
All the things that she was doing in the background, the ancestors was walking with her and watching her. And the ancestors made the decision to expose her. Somebody say why? Because she did not want to change. Folks asked me, and he said, so, madam, he said, what ancestors done showed you about Fani Willis and her lover, Nathan Wade? And ancestors showed me that they went in that courtroom.
Why don't you get your plate and get the hell out of here?
And they was mixing the truth with a whole bunch of lies. That's what the ancestors showed me about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. They went in that courtroom and they was lying.
Mm-hmm.
Telling the truth and lying at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Ancestors said it was a whole lot of sneaky shit going on in the background. And Fani Willis, she was willing and she was ready to risk
Stop it!
her job / her position for a man. She was ready to give it up for a man. For some DICK.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to give up her position and her job for a man that didn't care nothing about her.
Come on. Come on.
Y'all heard me, right? Nathan Wade didn't give a shit about Fani Willis. All Nathan Wade cared about was what he could get from Fani Willis. Let's go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. I said I ain't gonna tear it too long. Fani Willis, she was talking about how she kept money in a safe. And we know that almost everybody keep money in a safe and things of that nature. Black people and white people. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing strange for somebody to keep a safe and put money inside of a safe. But ancestors said she was telling the truth about that, about money being in a safe. But ancestor said she ain't telling the truth about how she got most of that money
Come on.
kept in that safe.
Come on.
One thing about cash money, and most of us already know this. One thing about cash money is it go from hand to hand to hand. So you can't really trace it back to a specific person when you're dealing with cash money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're using a card,
come on,
it can be traced back to a specific person.
That's right.
And Fani Willis, she made sure that she covered her tracks carefully. Put it together, my people. No rocket scientists to figure what was going on out. Fani Willis said, fuck that. She said, I got to go to church. After she done got into all of this mess and knew what she was doing in the background and everything, she said, now it's time for me to go to church.
Facts.
She did the same thing.
Facts.
Now, Tory Lanez.
Oh my God.
Just got stabbed up 14 times. My brother. Tory Lanez.
And Fani Willis, she was willing and she was ready to risk losing her job / her position for a man. She was ready to give it up for a man. For some DICK.
She be playing.
Ready to give up her position and her money in a safe. And we know that almost everybody keep money in a safe and things of that nature. Black people and white people. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing strange for somebody to keep a safe and put money inside of a safe. But ancestor said she was telling the truth about that, about money being in a safe. But ancestor said she ain't telling the truth about how she got most of that money that she kept in that safe.
I believe that. She awful.
One thing about cash money, and most of us already know this. One thing about cash money is it go from hand to hand to hand.
So you can't really trace it back to a specific person when you're dealing with cash money. But when you're using a card, it can be traced back to a specific person. And Fani Willis, she made sure that she covered her tracks carefully. Put it together, my people. It don't take no rocket scientist to figure what was going on out. Fani Willis said, fuck her to that. She said, I gotta go to church. After she done got into all of this mess. And knew what she was doing in the background and everything. She said, now it's time for me to go to church. She did the same thing that Tiny and T.I. did when they got in trouble.
Facts.
She ran to the church. They said, if you scared, then go to church. The reason why she ran to the church was because she was being exposed. She was being exposed for the things that she knew that she was doing. For the secret shit that she was doing in the background. But one thing that Fani Willis got to understand is that the pastor can't save her.
That part.
Just because she ran to the church can't save her. When karma come knocking at your door, you gotta answer. Whether it's good karma or bad karma, you gotta answer to that karma. I said, when karma come knocking at your door, you gotta answer. Fani Willis know what the fucker is upper. Now I gotta say this. I was like some of y'all. I was rooting for Fani Willis. I believed that she was going to turn away from her evil ways. I believed that she was going to make right what she was doing wrong and what she did wrong. Because that's the promise that she made to the ancestors and the Holy Spirit when nobody else was around. She made a promise to do the right thing. But when the ancestors showed me in the vision that I had, they showed me about the secret oaths. Secret oath, and things that she was taking in the background.
Facts. I believe that.
We don't see going on in the background, my people.
That's right.
And they showed me that Fani Willis made the final decision to join down with the other side. And when the ancestors showed me this, when the Holy Spirit showed me this, I had to spit Fani Willis out of my mouth just like the ancestors did. And I had to call her ass.
Wow, no wonder Kamala Harris called her the Washington AKA sisters. My grandma was an AKA. Wow, she black boule. That's why I never joined when you find out the truth about sororities and fraternities. Wow, they are gatekeepers for the Illuminati. Oh my gosh, that make perfect sense. Wow.
Out for the filth.
Wow.
I've seen it clear as day. Y'all will be surprised to know about the secret meetings that took place in the background.
Facts.
Y'all know I gotta say allegedly, because that's how we gotta do it. But after I saw that, I couldn't be on her side no more. Because the ancestor said, no, we gotta spit her out. The ancestor said we was walking with her and we was watching her.
Yep.
The ancestors, the Holy Spirit will give you a chance to make things right.
Yep.
The ancestor said, she ain't on our side no more. So we got to go against her. Don't be surprised, my people.
Wow.
I said, don't be surprised, my people, if y'all hear some more shocking information that come out about this situation. Don't let it surprise you. If she end up going to jail, then that's her karma.
Wow.
If she end up getting kicked off the Donald Trump case,
and she did,
then that's her karma.
She did.
If she get to stay on the Donald Trump case and then later on she end up being blood sacrificed, then that's her karma. I promise y'all.
Facts.
That this rabbit hole, it go much more deeper. If she would have chose to turn away from her evil ways and do the right thing, she wouldn't even been called out. She wouldn't even be going through what she going through today.
Facts.
Told y'all got to be careful about that karma. Got to be careful about the things that you do in the background and think that you can't be called out in front of everybody. And I will be back, y'all. Y'all be good.
Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. This video was made over a year ago. She was kicked off the Donald Trump case. Her relationship with Nathan Wade, that she said she left him alone, but when her daughter got in trouble, she was with Nathan. And she was caught another place with him. Man, like, share, subscribe. It's going to be a part 2, 3, and 4. I got so much information on this witch. All right, like, share, subscribe. Y'all have a good one. I think I'm going to do one more video. Oh, it's 12, maybe not.